In 2016, researchers studied 15,000 people and found something that shouldn't be true. The smarter a person was, the more miserable frequent socializing made them. Not shy people, not awkward people, intelligent people. Their brains were actively punishing them for hanging out with friends. And if you've ever wondered why you cancel plans and feel relieved, why your phone stays silent for days and part of you likes it, this video is going to explain something about you that nobody ever put into words, because smart people having no friends isn't an accident. It's not bad luck. It's a pattern. And once you see the machinery behind it, you can't unsee it. Let's start with that study, because it gets stranger. Evolutionary psychologists Norman Lee and Satoshi Kanazawa found that for most people, more time with friends meant more happiness. Simple, predictable. But for people with high intelligence, the effect flipped. The more often they socialized, the lower their life satisfaction dropped. The researchers called it the savannah theory of happiness, the idea that our brains still run on ancient settings, where humans needed the tribe to survive. Most brains still crave that, but highly intelligent brains seem to have quietly opted out. They adapted. They found they could solve problems alone, and a brain that can survive alone stops rewarding you for company. So the first secret is this: a smart person's loneliness often isn't a wound. It's a feature. Their brain literally pays them less for socializing, so they invest less in it. Nobody's teaching them to be alone. Their own reward system is. But biology is only half the story. The other half happens in conversation. Picture a smart person at a party. Someone asks, "So, how about this weather?" And in their head, in that exact second, they're thinking about a documentary they watched, a problem they're solving at work, an idea that's been eating at them for 3 days, and they have to compress all of that into, "Yeah, pretty cold lately." For most people, small talk is a warm-up. For a highly intelligent person, it's starvation. They came hungry for a real meal and got handed a single peanut. And here's the part nobody admits. They can't fake enjoying it. Their face gives it away. They check out mid-sentence, and the other person feels it. Feels judged, even when no judgment was intended. So slowly, invitations stop coming. Not because the smart person was rude, because being around someone who's clearly somewhere else feels bad. And it gets worse after the conversation ends. Because now, the replay begins. An average person leaves a party and forgets it by morning. An intelligent person leaves the same party and runs the tape. Why did I say that? Why did she pause before answering? Did that joke land wrong? Their analytical engine, the same one that makes them brilliant at work, doesn't have an off switch. It turns every casual interaction into a case file. And when every hangout comes with 2 hours of post-game analysis, the math changes. Socializing stops costing 1 evening. It costs 1 evening plus a night of mental paperwork. At some point, the brain does the accounting and quietly concludes, not worth it. There's a third mechanism, and this one is almost cruel. Smart people see through things. They notice when a compliment is really a setup for a favor. They notice when someone's story doesn't add up. They notice the small social games everyone plays, the fake laughs, the status moves, the "we should totally hang out" that both people know is a lie. Most people run on social autopilot and never see any of this. But once you see it, you can't participate in it sincerely. And most friendship, especially early friendship, runs on exactly these harmless little performances. So the intelligent person stands at the edge of the game, fully aware of the rules, unable to pretend the game is real. People read that as coldness. It's not coldness. It's the inability to unsee. Now stack these 3 things together. A brain that doesn't reward socializing, conversations that feel like starvation, X-ray vision for social theater. What do you get? not someone who can't make friends. Someone whose standards for connection have become almost impossibly high. Because here's what smart people actually want, and this is the part that flips the whole title of this video. They don't want no friends. They want one conversation that goes 4 hours and feels like 10 minutes. They want someone they can think out loud with without translating themselves down. They want to be understood without a user manual. And when they meet that person, and it happens maybe a handful of times in a life, they are some of the most loyal, most devoted friends on earth. They didn't reject friendship. They rejected the diet version of it. The problem is what happens in the years between those rare people. Because for a long time, being alone works. It's peaceful. It's productive. The smart person builds a life that runs beautifully on solitude, and they genuinely enjoy it. But loneliness is patient. Researchers have found that chronic isolation affects the body like a slow physical stressor. Some compare its long-term health impact to smoking. And intelligence offers zero protection from this. You can fully understand why you're alone, agree with every reason, and your nervous system still registers the absence. That's the trap. The mind signed off on the isolation. The body never did. And there's one more twist. The longer the isolation lasts, the rustier the social machinery gets. Skills decay, tolerance drops. The gap between the connection I want and the connection I can currently access grows wider every year. So the smart person, who started out choosing solitude, can wake up one day and realize the choice quietly hardened into a cage. One they built, one they furnished, one they told everyone they loved. So what actually works? Not forcing yourself to enjoy small talk. That battle is lost. What works is changing the hunting ground. Smart people don't find their people at random parties. They find them inside shared obsessions, the niche hobby, the strange interest, the topic they could talk about for 6 hours. Because when the conversation starts at depth, all the machinery that normally sabotages them, the boredom, the analysis, the X-ray vision, finally goes quiet. You skip the theater and start at the real part. One person found that way outweighs 100 acquaintances found the normal way. The truth is, smart people were never bad at friendship. They were bad at pretending that shallow contact counts as friendship. And in a world that measures connection in followers and group chats, refusing the shallow version can look a lot like having no one. So here's my question for you, and be honest in the comments. If you could only have one friend for the rest of your life, but that person understood you completely, would you trade every casual friendship you have right now for that one person? Tell me below. I read everything.